Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anu. I head up marketing at Media One. Any hands of who's ever been to Media One? Oh, that's amazing. That's almost a full room. I'm sure my boss will be very happy. But I wanted to talk today a little bit about storytelling and fairy tales. And that sounds really childish probably, but there's a real link between what we do as marketeers and how that links into customers perceiving us and guests visiting us at the hotel. So once upon a time, there was a land of fun and games, because Dubai is all about fun and games, if you ask me, where a bunch of marketeers lived, which I think this whole room is filled with all of us, where we paved the ways. Because ultimately, I think I'd like to believe that at the core of a business lies marketing. And we might be a little bit shied away. We're all usually back of the house, but we form the foundation of what sales and all the other departments build on. So that leaves me to a little bit of a fairy tale. Now, just a little bit about myself. I've been in Dubai for about 8 years. Hospitality is my core background. And there's one thing that's always stuck with me. So I started off my first internship. It was at the Taj in Bombay, beautiful property in Colaba on the water and whatnot. It's gone through a bunch of different stories, but ultimately it's always been a hotel for majority of the time. And I still remember starting off as an intern at the front office. And every time I walked into this lobby, it was like a fairy tale. Because a hotel lobby at any given point of time changes instantly. There's always something happening. There's always something going on. And I invite anyone, whether you're in the industry or not, just have a seat in a hotel lobby for 5 minutes and you will see a world of difference. Now, the nice thing about fairy tales is that it usually has a happy ending, right? And I think us as human beings, we love happy endings, and that's why as kids we always used to watch fairy tales. Anyone watch Cinderella? See, again, a whole full. In the hospitality industry, and I think in marketing itself, we build these fairy tales, and people, they believe that happy endings are a good way to go. And I think any campaign that has ever been done, whether it's been in hospitality, whether it's been an ad for Nike or whatnot, there's always a happy ending at the end of the story, right? Someone can do it because, yes, just do it. Or at Media One, we've done a drunken Santa because, yes, Santa should have some fun as well. So that's what we do. We build these fairy tales that people buy in, and we do that through storytelling. Now, 2 weeks ago, when I was asked to be a speaker at Campaign, I have been listening to more podcasts than I can possibly listen to in 2 weeks, because I wanted to get a bit of an understanding of what's happening in the industry and what's happening between us marketeers as well. So I got a bunch of questions that I needed to fill out, but the main thing that I felt is that us marketeers, I think we need to highlight the whole storytelling. So I live by 4 different pillars when I do my work every day. One is all about storytelling. If you have a compelling story, something that people believe in and that they really want to be part of, it's 9 out of 10 times a winning model. An example to give you is that during COVID, of course, the whole industry really struggled because it was a tough time. Whether you close the hotel, whether you keep it open, we have different pillars of the organization. We've got an office tower, we've got a hotel, we've got F&B outlets. So what we did is that we took it upside down and we said, okay, this is something that is difficult for the whole industry and I think for the whole world. But how can we flip it a bit on its edge? So we worked really hard. We got COVID clean certified. We did all the works. And then we said, how are we going to communicate this message? And at that time, everyone was communicating the message of we're a safe place to visit, everyone's sanitizing, everyone's fogging. And we came up with the idea of reinventing the Ghostbusters. So we had the COVID busters at Media One, and we dressed up the GM, the office tower manager, the director of sales, the hotel operations manager in proper Ghostbuster costumes, but rather than having the Ghostbuster backpack, they had fogging backpacks. Trust me, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun to do. It was a full day shoot. The agency we worked with turned it around in 2 days because there was such a time constraint on it. More and more people were popping up videos, and you want to be a first mover, right? I think everyone agrees with that. So there, I think it must have been June 2020, the COVID Busters was born at Media One. And it was a story that really traveled across the different platforms. Now, we activated it through social media. We have the screens in our own building. So, Austin, you might have seen it when you went to work. We did it through a number of different channels. We shared it through all our communities and whatnot. And I think it was one of these things where a story tells so much more than the written word. Of course, we had our policies, we had our certifications and everything, but through a fun and humorous way, we could communicate something different. Now, as an independent property, that leaves us a lot of freedom to do virtually whatever we want to do, and I understand that. But one of the takeaways in my storytelling pillar is that have a little fun, because marketing is all about having fun. We go to work, we do all the stuff that we have to do, which might not be so fun, but it's campaigns like this, as the Ghostbuster or the COVID Buster campaign, that really turns it around. And when you see those fruitions, you really feel proud of what you've done. Another point is content. Now, content has never been more important than I think it is in today's world. Content is key, and I think so many of the other speakers have spoken about video and pictures and the quality and how you shoot, and do you do it by mobile phone or do you get a professional camera or whatnot? But content is key. And not only your generated content, but the user-generated content is equally important, because that leads me to the third pillar, and that is community. So I think, if I can, from my own personal experience, I think we lost a little bit of touch 2019 and 18, and we went full digital. Everything social, everything digital, everything this, everything that. But I think what the whole pandemic has done to us as an industry, but I think as the world, is brought us kind of back to on our feet. And we've built and looked more at community-centric marketing. So at the hotel, for example, we partnered up with a number of different communities, being it from countries, being it from sports clubs, being it from different focus groups, and we've all put them together and we said, you know what? We're a place where everyone's included, and everyone can be part of our community in one way or another, whether you want to come and do meetings, whether you want to come and visit our restaurants, but we're a place where everyone can come and visit us. And this community-based marketing is so important, and it might be a little traditional and it might be a little backwards thinking in a way, but I think nowadays more than ever, in a time where we've all been isolated in our own ways, we want to be amongst people. I mean, look, we're a room full of people. Who would have thought that about a year ago, right? So community-based is just really important, I think, for any business. Whether it's your digital community, your online community, but also look at your physical community. Whether it's in-store, whether it's online, it's something to bear in mind. And the last point I want to touch base on is partnerships, because without partnerships, I don't think we're anywhere. From a hospitality point of view, we've got partners across, maybe it's the alcohol brands, maybe it's sports-related brands, is it a lifestyle brand, or maybe it's a bunch of influencers, but partnerships are really important in order to link back to the whole stories. And you know what? Your partners are great at building content as well. So I think bearing in mind this, it should be a bit of a no-brainer for anyone, and I'm sure the room knows about it already, but I just want to walk away with one little thing, that just because you have all these pillars in place does not mean that you skimp on advertising, because in our industry, the first thing they do is they cut the advertising budget, right? Because it's easy. But there's nothing like spending money in the right places, and I think my predecessor talking as well has mentioned the same, that spend your money wisely, put it in the right pockets, and then time will tell and show you how everything will go. So thank you so much for listening to me, and have a lovely day.